Hey guys, my name is Nibiri and it's time for another kicking of the week. And today I'm going to show you how you can make a Psy Style kick that you can hear in Sub-Zero project tracks. Now I wanted to go for a kick with quite a high punch and then having some kind of Psy-ish rhythm in the tail. And well, this is the end result that we're going for. I'm personally really proud how this turned out because I don't often make these type of kicks. So before I started making this kick, I of course thought a little bit about which direction I want to go, and I really want to emphasize that that's just important before you start doing any type of sound design. Just think a little bit like, hey, I want a high punch or a low punch, and just the basic direction that you want to go for. Now, I'm sorry, it's raining outside. Maybe you can hear it a little bit in the background, but oh well. So starting this off, like I said, I wanted to have a high punch layer, and of course I wanted to make that in Serum again because I tend to make all my kicks in Serum. If you watch my previous videos, you know that I like to use the LFO in Serum as an envelope to start the punch. But normally when I put that on the coarse pitch, I kind of stop at around 30 so I can get a medium or a normal type of punch. But thinking or preparing for a more higher punch, I wanted to go a little bit more extreme, and I ended up going for 49. So that was just a basic step that I did already to get a higher punch. And if you want to use Serum for that, just use the envelope over here to just create a little bit of a higher envelope on your coarse pitch. Now the sound that's coming out of Serum is this. And it has that little rumble at the end, but I just don't pay attention to that because that comes out of the distortion over here. The way I emphasize this little punch is just by putting this same LFO, the envelope, on our filter over here. So this creates some more bleepy feeling for the punch, and it just helps create some more power. So if I bypass this, it's already just taking away that character that we're building. So you want to play around with the cutoff and putting an envelope on there to really create that punchy feeling that you want. And after that, I just went into the effects and kind of did the same with EQ over here. So I'm taking this bell and putting it where that resonant frequency is at, and just boosting that a little bit more with the same envelope, and just making that punch even more full of that bleep sound. And at the end, we're just low cutting this and placing this frequency at the right spot, so it just gives some body to the punch instead of sounding rubbish and taking the body away. So right now it's at 50, and if you put it too high, it's just gonna take away that body. And if you put it too low, there's maybe gonna be too much mod. And putting that at the right spot, it just gives it a little bit less digital feeling and gives it some more warmth. Now, as you can see, I wanted to try to use a comb filter, but at the end I just didn't go for that, and that's all for this Serum. So I've exported that punch, but when I was listening to it, it just didn't have that power. And a way to give your punches power again is just using kick 2 or a kick sample, and putting that in phase with the punch layer that you created. And that's basically what I did in kick 2 this time. And as you can see, I really emphasized the frequency arc over here, so it's going to be a quite punchy kick layer. So the kick coming straight out of kick 2 sounds like this. And this just helps giving that high pitch punch layer that we had some more body and some more snap, because this layer carries that snap that we need. So after layering these two layers together, it already sounds quite nice and snappy. It just already emphasizes that snap a lot more. And after that, I sent the sounds to a bus, put an EQ on that just to raise the lows a little bit and erase some of the mids, because this bleep is all the way over here. And I applied a wave shaper on here, just quite gentle. I pulled the mix down quite a lot. And I like to use VC160 to create sounds that really need to be snappy. And if you don't have VC160, just play around with a compressor till you get that same kind of snap. Now in this case it didn't make that much of a difference, but I feel it really needed it. So that's all for the punch, and now we're going to be talking about the tail. I wanted to create this tail out of Serum, and the tail layer that I created sounds like this. And it only has one of the spikes that you have in this kick. As you can hear in these Psy Style kicks, you're always going to have that kind of percussive feeling in there. And I wanted to try to make that in Serum, but I didn't really know how. And I ended up going for one, and then I added the other punch in here to create that little bit of that second bounce for the tail. And as you can see, I'm just using this LFO again to create movement in the tail. And as you can see, I'm using this weird shape to emphasize this offbeat feeling for this tail. And I'm using some different types of LFOs as well to just make some different parameters move in different ways. Such as over here, we use this one for the lower one. And I'm using this one for the filter cutoff over here. So I'm already creating more of an emphasis on this second part, the offbeat part of this tail. Basically, when you want to create a tail like this, or just any type of tail, it's just a matter of playing around with this cutoff, making it move perhaps a little bit, but just play around with it till everything sounds nice and crunchy in the way you like it, and then start looping it so you can really hear if your sound is gonna be shaping the kick the way you want it. Because, well, when I loop this, you're already gonna hear that this tail is quite in time with the punch in front of here. So yeah, just play around with this cutoff and make it move, and then give it a little loop so you can check if it's in time with your punch. Now with this first extra punch layer on here, it's already getting that sound of a Psy Style-ish type of kick. So this next part isn't that special, to be honest. If you watched previous videos from my channel, you just know that when I have this nice character, I'm gonna add a warm layer, and that's what I did over here. Just made that in Serum, and I added some reverb to create some more fat sound for this tail. And the punch, I'm just gonna let that be as it is. But yeah, when I made this warm layer, it's already creating this huge difference again. Just whenever you're having a nice character layer, just put that warm layer in there. 9 out of 10 times, it's just the only thing that it needs to be sounding more full. Adding this warm layer again just elevates this simple crunchy layer that we have right now into a way more full and fat tail. And I just applied some distortion on there, and I actually decided to route the entire reverb in here to the distortion as well. So you're gonna see this reverb channel over here is routed through that bus, and then getting that same distortion as I'm having over here. I'm just applying a gentle distortion to just tie things down a little bit more. And that reverb is just adding a little bit of an extra layer of fatness into our tail. It's just a little extra texture. So after this step, the kick sounds like this. So I exported these two layers over here, and I just started playing around with them. And I played around with the pogo a little bit, and I decided that it actually sounded better when I had a little pogo on here. So we're changing this tail from this into this. So it's moving a little bit more, and it's just a little bit more interesting to listen to. And then I cut it up to just give a little bit more of a wobbly feeling in the tail. And all the reverb layer over here and the punch layer is just the same. And this is just the same layer as our tail over here. But I just decided to cut it up a little bit. What I did after that was I decided to add a new reverb in here. And this extra reverb is just gonna help emphasize the background of the kick a little bit. It's just gonna help give some more sound in the back. As if I'll just add this in here, you're definitely gonna hear the difference that it just makes. It sounds nice and tight right now, but just this extra reverb does so much. I'm just gonna loop this. So that's already helping giving this kick a more huge feeling. And the only thing I added after that was just this extra kind of filtered, pogoed punch layer. I just pogoed it a little bit, pitched it down, just playing around with it to just get it to sound a little bit different and giving it this EQ curve so it doesn't sound as upfront with too much highs. And I just erase the lows because I don't want the lows of this punch playing with the lows of my sub from the tail. And actually, yeah, that's just all. And then after limiting this kick, this is what we get. Now I hope you liked this tutorial and that it inspires you to create your own Psy style type of kicks. And I hope to see you back soon again. Cheers!